In June, a small group of Amazon delivery drivers in Southern California walked out on the job. There were the more typical demands, higher wages, a more equitable workplace, but something new rose to the top of the list: protection from heat.
It'd feel just like a sauna. The cool air would just dissipate because it was just that hot. Like I would have to press my face up against the air vent.
As the planet warms due to man-made climate change, heat deaths and injuries at work are mounting, and safety regulations are struggling to catch up.
No contract, no work!
So workers across the U.S. are taking safety into their own hands, demanding that employers take heat seriously. These are the front lines of a new fight for labor rights.
Is it really a demand to have human empathy? It shouldn't really be a demand.
All right, I appreciate you guys' hard deliveries. Be safe out there.
Jonathan Irvin runs a logistics company called Battle Tested Strategies. They were contracted by Amazon to deliver its packages.
We're doing between 8,000 and 10,000 packages a day.
Those Amazon drivers who deliver your packages, they usually work for a company like Irvin's. Amazon sets the pace and flow using complex algorithms that tell him and his crew what to do.
Amazon's delivery network was designed to export responsibility to these small DSP companies to absorb complicated issues that come up with labor and to limit the power of workers, right? And to keep out unions.
According to Irvin, BTS was an ideal partner, a key node in Amazon's delivery network in the northern part of Los Angeles.
This is from the city of Palmdale, commending Battle Tested Strategies for delivering 10 million packages.
Then, a few years ago, things started to change.
It was in the summer of 2021 when we initially started having issues with our Mercedes Sprinter vans, air conditioning going out.
This is the back of the van, gets super hot back here.
Fast forward to 2022, the heat was unyielding.
2 vents here, a vent here, and a vent, 2 vents at the top. Engine has to be off at every stop, so it heats up quite a bit.
The back can get anywhere from 100 to 110 pretty easily. It's like opening an oven in your face.
Extended exposure to heat can have devastating effects on your body and mind. It can put pressure on your heart and kidneys. In extreme cases, it causes vital organs to shut down. Between 2011 and 2021, 436 workers died in the US from heat exposure, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That is most likely an undercount, because heat-related deaths are often attributed to other accidents or health conditions. There are also indirect impacts. Heat can lead to exhaustion, which makes people more likely to hurt themselves at work. This study from UCLA a few years ago showed that hotter temperatures led to about 20,000 more injuries a year in California, with the majority occurring in low-wage jobs.
The really important thing to consider with extreme heat is how inequitably it impacts our populations and our communities. And so, of course, those at most risk are often lower paying jobs that might be outdoors for construction or agriculture or in warehouses.
Fortunately, the guidance for reducing the danger is fairly straightforward.
To the extent that you want to protect workers against heat, just give them water, allow them break time, and make sure there's shade. The bottom line is that really heat doesn't kill. It's the employer's failure to protect workers that kills.
Amazon's website says the company offers air conditioning, plenty of rest time, and other preventative measures to help keep employees and drivers safe. But drivers we talked to said air conditioning often did not work in their vans, and the pace and volume of package delivery set by Amazon made it nearly impossible to follow this guidance.
So I would have to utilize my lunch period just to pull out some of my packages and have them sorted out just so I can stay ahead.
I brought back drivers with a lot of packages due to the fact that they were tired, working day after day in the heat. We had a driver suffer a heat stress condition and was taken by an ambulance.
Amazon told us in an email that drivers are always able to return to station if they feel unwell. The company said vehicles are outfitted with AC and that maintaining them is the responsibility of contractors like Irvin. This May, BTS drivers joined the Teamsters, one of the US's largest unions. They hammered out a new contract with Irvin for improved working conditions and higher pay. But then Amazon canceled BTS's contract, citing poor performance. So in June, 84 BTS workers began picketing Amazon's facilities, demanding Amazon negotiate with them directly.
We're just working. We're out here picketing. We're showing support. We're striking. That's what we're doing within our rights.
It's no surprise that workers were organizing around this issue of heat. When you're delivering packages in 90, 100 plus degree weather, it's like, playing football in the middle of August.
The drivers have picketed in a half dozen locations across the US. Their demands? To be acknowledged as Amazon employees and to sit down to bargain a contract with higher wages and guarantees for safer working conditions and vehicles. In an email, the company told us that the striking workers are not its employees and they do not work for Amazon. And when we visited the picket line in June, an Amazon spokeswoman wouldn't directly discuss negotiations. With record-breaking heat waves, more and more workers across the US are walking out to demand better heat protections from their employers, from UPS to McDonald's.
We don't get it! Shut it down!
In July, public sector workers in Texas launched a thirst strike, refusing water to protest lax heat protections in the state.
If you can't afford to protect your workers, then you have a bad business plan, basically. Every worker in the United States deserves, by law, to come home safe at the end of the workplace.
Jordan Barab worked at the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. It's the agency that regulates workplace safety in the US. And that law he's talking about doesn't really exist, or at least not at the federal level. OSHA is currently drafting national heat standards.
Today I'm announcing additional steps to help states and cities deal with the consequences of extreme heat.
But it could take years for them to be implemented. So right now, it's left up to the states. And it's been a patchwork of laws and enforcement tactics. For example, in California, where BTS is located, there are some regulations, but only for outdoor workers.
I walked into sweltering indoor temperatures, reaching 85 degrees on the robotics floor.
As they draft indoor rules, workers across the state, including Amazon drivers, have been delivering testimonies at OSHA board meetings like this one.
It's heat exhaustion, fatigue. Yesterday I almost fainted.
A few times I have burnt my arms on some of the shelves in the vans.
Despite these loud and public complaints, California's Workplace Safety Agency told us they had never inspected Amazon's facility where BTS and other delivery partners operated from. As national rules are drafted, it raises the question of how OSHA, a relatively small government agency, will actually enforce them. For example, opposing a rule stating that work should stop once temperatures reach 95 degrees is one thing, but measuring this and ensuring companies are compliant, that requires a lot of resources.
It's estimated that if OSHA was to inspect every workplace in the country just once, it would take 190 years.
How can you reasonably implement a system like this without burdening businesses so much that they have to become experts in heat sensors and purchase like a ton of equipment that they can't afford? So I think that balance is really important.
Major business associations, from the American Farm Bureau Federation to the Construction Industry Safety Coalition, have objected to new heat regs, saying they would be too onerous. In the meantime, it's being left to companies to impose their own safety protocols. Amazon, for example, says it reduces the number of packages in a shift as the temperature gets higher. But Irvin says that the fundamental way Amazon runs its business, through subcontractors like his, is at odds with keeping workers safe on the hottest days. Amazon's algorithms score subcontractors and drivers on a range of metrics, from how efficiently they deliver packages to how they drive. Low scores can lead to them losing out on future shifts, or can even get a driver fired.
What happens if last week I was climbing stairs as a delivery driver and I twisted my ankle and I make $15 an hour? And the following week, I can't sprint upstairs if I'm trying to catch up, right? There's no algorithm that I can say, hey, my ankle just hurts today and it's 100 degrees. Can I slow down a bit? Because it's gonna look like you're not meeting your previous pace when you were sprinting.
That algorithm, which is built by a computer, these are humans, they're gonna wear out over time. And this is what occurred in the summer of 2022.
We shut Brown down!
Worker organizing has started to pay dividends when it comes to heat protection on the job. After over 300,000 unionized UPS workers threatened to strike this summer, the company offered significant concessions, including rolling out air conditioning in their vehicles. But when it comes to Amazon drivers, the future is much less certain.
We need to stand united in this. We're all out here breaking our backs for somebody else. You like to drive in a car when your AC's busted in triple digits weather? No.
You ready to fight? Yeah, fight. Are you ready?
As long as we have that patchwork that exists without those federal standards, we're going to have a large proportion of our heat workers at risk for these preventable heat-related illnesses and deaths.
Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe so we can show you more.